My name is Garrett Sauls. I work at InterWorks. I've been at InterWorks for about 14 years, which is crazy to say, but I'm a content manager. I'm a marketing person. I joke I'm a corporate English teacher. My job is to make smart people sound good and get smart people talking and saying things that other people like. That's why I'm doing this webinar. That's me. I'll kick it over to Annabelle to introduce herself.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Annabelle Rincon. I am a Tableau ambassador and Tableau visionary. I'm passionate about enablement and data visualization, but especially about enablement, because I think it really matters to success of an organization in general, if you enable your people in the use of data. And today is my great honor to introduce Dawn Harrington. So Dawn is a data visualization manager for a big bank. She's responsible for curating useful insight across the organization via tools like Tableau and Alteryx. She also helps users grow their technical and soft skills to interact with data and teach in a more meaningful way. She's passionate about community. She's a Tableau visionary, 4-time Tableau social ambassador, an Alteryx innovator, and the Data Plus Women US Northeast chapter lead. And she also had the great honor of speaking at TC 24, 25th, and soon 26th. Maybe Dawn, I will hand over to you. Maybe you can speak about how you have been with your organization for 18 years. Maybe you can bring us into your journey, your career journey.
It's going to be 19 in July. I can't believe
Oh,
that. Like, did I blink?
congrats.
Like, I blinked and suddenly it's like almost 19 years. Well, I started when I was 15. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
But it started in HR and kind of did a couple of different, things. And now I've landed in, as a data visualization manager in finance. So I'm going to say, sorry, you sent me the questions. How it evolved is I've always had like a natural curiosity about data tools and, helping others. I started out like in my career just having Excel classes and small classes on SQL and then just, well, what's next? Like just transferring, finding different opportunities, what's interesting. So that's kind of how it evolved from there. And networking. I'm outgoing, and this is probably a funny fact. I literally networked playing Pokemon Go.
Nice.
I found a role playing Pokemon Go. I just networked with other users, and they were like, "Hey, we have this role open." And I was like, I'm gonna apply for it." So that's kind of how it went.
It's skills. The skills, it says a lot about the organization that let you like grow, and also to you that you are not satisfied with the current status and you always want to learn. I think it's a good skills to have.
Yeah, that Pokemon Go thing, that's interesting too. It's not so different from how a lot of other people I know who have networked. So the CEO of InterWorks, for example, Bayfar Jahanshahi, a lot of people who came to InterWorks were people who played Counter-Strike with him. And that's just how it works. And they're obviously very smart people, and after getting some rapport with them, he's just like, hey, yeah, the business is growing. Like, what do you want to work? Sort of thing. So it never underestimate those little interactions, of whether it's just a fun game or whatever, which we're going to be talking about games today, right? Never underestimate how they can build up skills or provide opportunities. I'm curious, Annabelle kind of touched on this, Dawn, but in terms of navigating through those career changes, were there any particular skills or things that kind of helped you along the way? I know you had mentioned like, yeah, you're not afraid to like get into Excel and do that and do those unofficial things, and networking in itself is a skill, but are there any like pivotal points or memories or specific skills that if someone's trying to navigate their career, you're like, this is honestly focus on this one. Like this one will get you a long way.
I would say SQL, knowledge
Hmm.
of SQL carried me through most with, the different data tools because, you're still always gonna, just
Hmm.
um, go through data, try to discover insights. So, learning SQL very early on helped me, or SQL, or however you want to call it.
Yeah.
W3 Schools is one that I really recommend to users.
Hmm.
That's kind of how I taught myself because it's great because it has little fields you can type in and test your code. And then just having a natural curiosity, like And helping me to learn, creating those teaching sessions
Hmm.
that I create for myself. One thing that I will say that will help drive you in your own career is not waiting for an opportunity to present itself, is kind of creating your own opportunity. So that's
Hmm.
what I did. I just did it on the side and say, started with a, hey, who wants to learn a SQL class?
Hmm.
So I did a little sign up sheet, had people, and we kind of just went together and it, and that's how it started.
Yeah.
From there, I did other sessions. It turned into Alteryx training. It turned into Tableau training. Um, I've been really fortunate to have managers that were really supportive
Hmm.
of that, So it was always it was on the side, it's getting involved. I know there might be some people that are not so outgoing as
Hmm.
myself, but that's really a great way to learn, is because
In
as a
data?
teacher, yeah,
Never.
yeah. So teaching will help you learn about the tool too,
Hmm.
because you'll have people from different perspectives. Should I say the Albus Dumbledore quote here?
Yeah.
It's not how you're alike, but it's how you're not. So that's always valuable with
Hmm.
classes, because the different perspectives help you grow as a person. Like, I never would have thought of that use case, and it kind of helps you. But I don't have the answer now, but let me figure that out for you. So it
Hmm.
also exposes you to things that you may not be exposed to in like your current role. So network, network, network. Play Pokemon Go. No,
Yeah, these are the key takeaways.
right, right. Give Pokemon Go a try. No, yeah, it could be something small. You could start out with like just a small little, group of like-minded individuals that want to get together and learn more, and you might find that it may grow from there, because just word of mouth of like, oh yeah, hey, Dawn's having this class on, whatever. Let's, get together and oh, I want to join, So that's kind of how it starts. So.
Yeah.
And Dawn, do you think that because you had to learn on your own, um, you you were attracted to enablement and helping other not to have the same struggles than you along the way?
I blame the independence from my dad. He's a Navy guy, and another interesting fact is my dad had a car shop. So, working there as a family, if it's your own family business, you kind of have to get involved and, talk to customers. And when he would train, he'd be like, you do this, this, and this, and then walk away. So you had to learn independently from the beginning, because you can't be
Yeah.
like, wait, what, dad, what, as he's walking away. So it helped to drive the independence. I will
Mhm.
Mhm.
say independent learning.
Okay, we had the same education, Dawn.
Oh, okay. All
My
right.
father showed me at 18 how to change a tire in
Hmm.
my car, so I never had ever, ever, ever to call him to do that.
That's great. What a skill,
Yep.
honestly. Yeah.
Yep.
Similar. I mean, I also grew up with. It's just so funny as an adult. I'm realizing things, and obviously, I love my parents, and my dad's fantastic. But I grew up learning a lot of like he would show me those mechanical things at a young age, and it's funny because when I was like 13 or 14, learning how to like change oil on a car and not being like great at it immediately, I thought I was just like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I just don't get it. I'm like, no, I'm just not a mid 30s man who knows how to do these things already, and I'm comparing myself to a very mechanical person. So that was a funny thing as an adult that I've come to realize. I'm like, oh, maybe I know more than I think I do. And maybe growing up, there's a level of like your parents are also kind of learning and making it up as they go along too. And then yeah, the
Yeah.
independent learning and all of that. But I do think it's a great way to learn. There's no better motivator than like I have to learn this, like
Mm.
I have to learn this in order to succeed at my job. There's not really another choice. I got to figure out a solution. So that's a great motivator for people to find a solution.
Someone asked a question, what system did I learn to use SQL? HR days, it was Oracle. So, and then from there, so it was
Hmm.
SAS after SQL, but we're still using SQL today. So.
Hmm. I think that's great. I think that's one of those things too, where like like on the marketing side of things or website of things, it's always good to learn HTML and CSS, no
Oh
matter
yeah.
how like automated it is
Hmm.
through things like WordPress or Squarespace or other sites or whatever that make it to where you can just choose some selectors. Having that foundational knowledge is never going to serve you wrong. And if anything, it's going to make you able to like understand how these things work foundationally and what it can and can't do. So I think that's a great example with SQL because yeah, I mean Tableau has what VizQL is that what it's called? And a lot of these BI tools make it to where it's a little more user friendly. You don't have to be a SQL expert, but you'll never be, it's never a bad idea to continue learning and growing that uh, foundational knowledge. I'm curious, Dawn, along the way. So obviously, there's a lot of independent learning. We're talking about that, but in in creating enablement structures and networking and stuff like that, what's the role been? How important has collaboration been in getting these things off the ground or scaling stuff like this across, groups that you've worked with? What have been some really cool collaborations or things that you're like, wow, I'm so glad I had that person because maybe I wouldn't have been able to do the same thing or have the same reach on my own.
So I do have a couple of great guy friends that are also trainers that were Alteryx enthusiasts. Um, and they are willing for me to volunteer them
That's great.
or pull them in. Like they're always open. I think one of my friends, he always jokes because he's like, the first three times, Dawn, I swear you just talked the whole time. I didn't say three words. So I kind of adopted him as like my friend.
Hmm.
That happens, like he didn't know, but he was going to be my friend, the first
Yeah.
three times. I was like, oh, you like video games? Blah, 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 blah. So, but yeah, there's people in that you just that have been really crucial with helping me get things off the
Mhm.
ground. There's a lot of Tableau enthusiasts at Big Bank, uh, and then in the community too. So
Hmm.
I don't know how it happens sometimes with networking, but like I said, Pokemon Go, like
Hmm.
just finding people, talking to them. I don't know how I could, if I would map it, it would probably look like a crazy crime scene string photo. Well, that's because Dawn knew that met this person there
Yeah.
and then this person over there, so it just kind of happens. So
Uh-huh.
there's not a plan. So, but yes, there's people in the community that have been very crucial in helping getting events off the ground.
Hmm.
I've had managers that were really supportive. Um, Using the tools to pull like distribution lists, like Alteryx, where you can connect
Hmm.
many different data sources at once, um, have been really helpful to do like campaign. I know Garrett, you talk about like marketing and
Yeah.
lists and emailing out,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's been crucial. And then even my own blog site, like that has gained interest, and there have been ambassadors that promoted it. I want to say thanks to Sarah, I forget her last name. She
Okay.
actually she was one of the first people that was like, yeah, tech tips girl. And I'm forever grateful for
Hmm.
her for pushing it off the ground because I feel like that helped
Yeah.
it get traction. So
Yeah. I love that. I think that's such a good lesson too. We live in a society. No, but really, I think like today, it can be so easy for people to, it's not to say don't be intentional about networking, but sometimes you encounter people where it's very very calculated, almost to the point of like, oh, like does this feel organic? But I really like your thoughts there and your experience where you're like, I mean, I just made connections and the rest kind of happened.
Mm.
I mean, you put yourself out there and you connect with multiple people and good things are just going to naturally happen as kind of like a downstream effect. So I really like that approach to networking versus the I'm just really gonna like strategically hustle and make the map of like I need to connect with so and so and so and so because I want to, like that kind of like yeah, like a murderer might do in Cluedo. You know. No, not at all. There's nothing wrong with that. I think I just prefer that more organic, natural approach. So that's really good insight for sure of just connect, do good things, keep putting yourself out there and good things will happen.
And I don't, because you mentioned these two communities, Alteryx and the Tableau community, I wonder what did you learn from one community and try to apply to another for your user? Maybe you learn about an initiative in Tableau community that could work in your analytic user community, and I don't know. I'm sure that you have like some good story to
I
share.
think I'm going to share my screen for this
Yeah.
one because it's going to
Okay.
bring us up straight to the Cluedo session.
Yeah, sure.
So I was looking for an event to do for Alteryx and a Tableau's combined session, and I came across this Alteryx Community Challenge, Cluedo, which it had a solution start and a solution end. So we thought this would be a great session to do. I had my friends that I volunteered to help me. We all had Clue hats
Oh,
that
Of
excellent.
I'm
course,
wearing
of course.
here as presenters. And there's three segments. There's the who, the what, and the where. And wasn't a popular one. But then with this challenge, I discovered that we could also apply this same kind of principles, data sets
Mm.
to a Tableau session. So
Mhm.
for Data Plus Women, US Northeast, I did a Tableau, and I'm sorry, the Zoom screen is like up there. Okay. Um, the Whodunit challenge. Basically, I took those same data sets from that Alteryx community challenge. For those of you who don't know Alteryx, there is a 90-day license you can get if you are a
Mm.
student or if you're interested in changing career. So if you want to download it and kind of, figure, what is this tool about?
Mhm.
That's what I used. Um, so I created this workbook. You can download it out there if you want to figure out the who, the what, the where. And you can see there's a little instruction book here. And this was for a past Data Plus Women US Northeast. And of course, because I'm sharing the screen, Tableau Public decided to say, well,
Oh, you wanted to show this to
then,
people?
I mean, but so yeah, I just thought it would be like a fun session because these are all of the exercises you're doing with data anyway. I think some people were kind of intimidated. It had a lower
Mm.
turnout than I expected, but that just happens sometimes.
Mhm.
Like there's going to be some events where you think, well, nobody's going to be interested, and it blows up. And you're going to have
Mhm.
the opposite where you think, oh, wow, this is fun. I like this. Maybe not a lot of other people like this, so not a lot of people attend. So this is just one of the events that we hosted to try to do something fun.
Mhm.
Um, and as it's thinking about it, well, take my advice, take my word for it. There is a way to
We
kind of
believe
do
you.
that. Other sessions that we did, we had a session where we would take a beginner dashboard, and I wish I had the beginner that I could show you here.
Mhm.
And then we asked for, it was called a dashboard revisited session. So you
Mhm.
take a basic dashboard. It's kind of like the Makeover Mondays that Andy Kriebel and others have done, but this is a whole dashboard instead. So what we've done is I gave them a plain basic dashboard with lots of bar charts, nothing really too much going on. And Kate Crawford from the Information Lab took it and made this, and it was amazing. I was like, whoa. So she was one of the presenters, and there was another presenter as well. So this is another event that I kind of took from one idea and kind of Frankensteined it into another. And it was very popular because sometimes I think beginner developers, they just don't know what to do.
Mm.
Like I have Tableau, I don't know where to start. So once again, to plug Tableau Public, if you don't know what to do, chances are someone else has already created a
Yep.
dashboard out there. So, hey, I want to do an executive summary. So I'm going to look in Tableau Public and see, holy cow, there's a whole bunch that are Tableau summary dashboards out there. Some you can download, some that you can't. It depends on what kind of learner you are. I'm a deconstruct. If I
Mhm.
have my hands on, download the workbook and try to recreate. That's how I learn.
Yep.
So just wanted a little plug there. We also have done a Jeopardy session. A friend of mine that I've also voluntold uh, set up the session. He was also on Jeopardy.
Oh, cool.
Um, so he had that experience of, being on it. So I figured he'd be the perfect host. He was already there. So this dashboard was created by Sid. We just kind of did it. And if you look up Jeopardy, there's lots of ones out there. I think even one of the Fleurlage twins. Yep, Kevin has one out there. Sid was the person that created this one. So we just took it and modified it. We had different
Mhm.
teams. So learning can be fun. Enablement can be fun. Gamification is
Mhm.
always, it's a great way to learn versus having just someone standing in front and being like, this is how you do a bar chart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah. Oh, and one more to call out InterWorks.
Oh, let's
You said
go.
I did. I'm going to show
Yes.
the flashing shoelaces that I received from my very first Tableau conference,
Uh-huh.
TC24, and I wore them last year on stage. So just had to call that out,
Incredible.
that you guys need to have those again.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. I love these so much. And yeah, it's funny because I was handing these out at it was like an Airstream trailer that we had for our booth and stuff. So it's funny, Don, that I probably 100% handed those to you without even knowing it. But those are so awesome. Those went so fast. And yeah, at data night out, ugh, like no better feeling than like you're out there and you see like your piece of swag like on everyone's feet being lit up and used. Like, yeah, how many water bottles, how many notebooks does everyone pick up from conferences, but to have something fun like that. So yeah, appreciate the shout out. That's fun.
I really like what you just shared on, like you had like very different content that probably resonate very differently through the audience. Some maybe like are more keen on doing a makeover, other are more keen on having fun. And that's always a good lesson for us when we enable people, because you said, like you said, like, I don't understand why this event didn't work. It was so awesome. No, on the contrary, you get very, very surprised.
I love
So
that you created it for Alteryx users first too, honestly. That's really great because I feel like Tableau has such a large community, and obviously you just showed some of those aspects, but I'm sure with Alteryx it's not as large. There's just not as many users in it. I feel like it maybe a more niche tool. Is that a correct understanding of it?
Um, so I think not that people are aware of the power of
Hmm.
Alteryx. No, that it can connect to many different data sources at
Hmm.
once. Another thing I was going to say is that I used it to create wedding bingo cards for my
Oh,
wedding. Yeah, so
okay.
true nerdy fashion here. So wedding bingo is like you see someone hug the bride, you mark it as complete. So
Uh-huh.
I've had other locations because I partner with other people who do enablement in on site. They did it for a social bingo, where they modified a little bit, where it's like they had a full session where did you talk to somebody that's been at Big Bank for 2 years or
Hmm.
something like that? So they'd mark it as complete. For my wedding bingo, I had the Hogwarts crest right in the middle.
Uh-huh.
So, we gave out prizes, but to be able to do that in Alteryx, I didn't create it originally. Someone else
Hmm.
came up with the idea, but
Hmm.
I was just like, wow, you could use this tool for this use case. So I think not a lot
mm,
of users are aware of how you can
Hmm.
use Alteryx and so yeah.
yeah, you can be very creative. And if you do like very creative and fun work, for me, it's the best way to learn something.
Hmm.
Because your creativity push you like to go further what the tool is originally create for. So that's quite interesting.
Hmm.
And then from Alteryx and even Tableau Trailblazers, Alteryx had the badges.
Hmm.
So I really liked that. I don't have as many as I would like. And then Tableau, the Salesforce Trailblazers, they had badges too.
Hmm.
So with that, I had created badges internally.
Hmm.
So here's a couple of those because I realized,
Oh, cool.
some users may think they're like a beginner or an intermediate or advanced, but what exactly does that mean?
Mm,
So what I did is I broke out some of the more important things like sets in Tableau. Has anyone used a set or like a parameter, or there's even an LOD calculations
mm,
badge, like breaking an application that can seem kind of intimidating if you're a beginner user, and piecing it out into little things that they will eventually, need to touch at some point is a great way for them to learn the tool. So, and also give back to the communities. There's some here like the doctor badge, like have you helped someone else in the community? And I'm sadly no longer a part of that team. I have moved
Hmm.
on, but these were out there and kind of the Makeover Monday badge.
Hmm.
There's a Workout Wednesday badge. So this was kind of fun to do, and they were excited about it because it breaks it out into pieces
mm.
instead of just a whole
Yeah.
class. So.
And we love badges. As an Eagle Scout, love some badges.
And stickers,
Yes, and
Garrett.
stickers. Yes. Oh my gosh. Make the badge and then print it off as a sticker. Game over.
So someone had asked the question,
Hmm.
Kinsia, I've asked, how did you award those? Was there personal library badges for users? Yes, they would apply for it. We used a very, very technically challenging tool called SharePoint, and
Maybe you've heard of it.
SharePoint list where they would apply. I did a little form, and they would apply for the one that they wanted to. Um, like and they would have to submit a workbook. I encouraged people to publish them to Tableau Public to kind of show others that yes, I've mastered my knowledge of sets, or I've mastered my knowledge of the pre-attentive attributes that Tableau uses. And so, that's they would have to meet with a proctor because I had a list of volunteers. Very, like I said, we have a lot of Tableau enthusiasts that were willing to kind of help look at it and award it, saying, yeah, you've showed knowledge that you're using sets and that kind of thing. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And something that we haven't touched yet, Dawn, did you adapt your training for different people? For instance, HR versus frontline users.
So that is a good question. Because I will have classes. I still teach classes the last week of every month. And sorry, they're not available to the public.
That's okay.
But my YouTube channel does have little video clips of, certain trainings that I've done. I'm hoping to pick it up again, but since I'm now a manager, I realize what little time I have for things. Okay, so I'm sorry. That's my train of thought.
Adapt the training.
Training, okay, yes. So I'll have a class of multiple users from different lines of business, but it's, it's not how you're different, it's how you're all alike in this circumstance. We're all learning a tool. We're all, it's the same technology regardless of the use case. So it's teaching them the basics. It's teaching them the storytelling best practices, and then talking about different, maybe you'll use this use case for this. But a lot of similarities is somebody's always going to know month over month. How do I analyze month over month data? How do I analyze year over year data? Is it, prior year to date, prior month to date, so I could see the differences in my metrics that way. That's always going to be a common use case. So the best way to train I've found is creating an environment where they feel okay to ask questions. Make it personable. I will tell you how I've made a mistake and learned from my mistake. And I have done some dumb mistakes that I will share with you. So so it creates that environment where it's not someone that's like, I know Tableau, it's it's more personable and more realistic. So I get a lot of thank yous because I really enjoy it. And that's the part, I find teaching to be really rewarding. If I could do it every day, all day, I would, but unfortunately I can't, as of yet. I'm just gonna, because who knows what next Pokemon Go game will put me
I know.
in the network of.
I feel like we're due for another craze. It's been 5, 6, 7 years. Yeah.
Right.
Never played this game. I have to check and Google it now.
Right, to see if anyone's still playing. I know one person, one of my friends is still a diehard Pokemon Go fan, but yeah, I dropped off. So yeah, now it's all. I should also plug that I'm no longer the Data Plus Women lead. I have now moved over to the video game Tableau user group.
Oh, good. Interesting. Can you tell us about that? I'm curious.
So I love, my husband and I both are video game players. Our living room is set up. My PS5 is over in this corner. His PS5 is over in this other corner.
I see.
So sometimes we'll play games together. Like when Hogwarts Legacy came out, we were both playing that one. There's a older game called Lens Island. We were playing that one at the same time, where you have to go and discover and get resources to build up your little island. We were playing that together. He could play the more complicated games, like the shooter games. I'm not a good, I can't play the Call of Duty games. Plus, I don't want to be mad when I play video games. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to be angry at some person across. Why did they shoot me? No, I don't want that. So I'm more like a Lego. I'll play the Lego video games. I'll play the farmer games. I just learned that it's called a cozy gamer. I am a
cozy.
Oh, okay.
So
cozy gaming.
I like the Harvest Moon. I like the
Yeah.
cozy games.
Stardew Valley. Did you play
I did
Stardew?
not. A lot of people recommended that one. I started out with Sims,
Yeah,
like
same.
playing
Yeah, Sims
Sims.
is great.
So I'll still come back to it. So
Yeah, that's great. Harvest Moon was, I have fond memories of Harvest Moon. You mentioned all these classic video games too. This is just a commentary, a note. This is not necessarily a discussion point, but anytime I remember getting into certain like tools and stuff like that, not necessarily Tableau, but like sometimes when I open like a complex BI tool, or especially if I open a data warehouse, it feels like the game missed. Where if you remember that as a child, where there's just like no objective, and you just like, what does this lever do? And something happens, but you don't know what, and you're just aimless. I don't know. There's like no point, and the point of the game is to be frustrated and confused. That's how I feel sometimes. So.
are you talking about Maniac Mansion? Because that sounds like Maniac Mansion.
Probably, yeah. No, it's like Myst, like Myst. If you've played it, you know
Oh
exactly
yeah.
what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I recommend not playing it.
So
For me, it's a
someone
fair
in the
click and point.
Yes.
cooking point, right? Someone in the chat said they're trying to create a community from
Yeah.
scratch and engagement has been slowly increasing. So one of the things that really helped me is that we did community awards.
Hmm.
So I was going to say if I could pull it up on LinkedIn, where we gave badges, like little tiny trophies in 6 categories. I'm going to see if I can bring it up. LinkedIn community awards. And that's a great way because you're getting people to submit for themselves or submit for others if they've a community LinkedIn community board, Dawn Harrington. Let me see if I can bring up an old picture.
Cool.
I don't know if it'll come up or not. I don't think it will. But they were little tiny trophies we got from trophy.com. And I forget some of the categories too. I'll have to bring it up at another point. But it's a great way to get them
Uh-huh.
started because people like to be recognized. They like
Yeah.
awards. The little trophies aren't even that expensive. They're like $6. You can
Anymore,
find
it's
one.
wild. You can make anything you want.
Yeah. So we awarded people for our Clue event. Like
Hmm.
I found one with like a little tiny laptop that was like, the top 3. Slido is something else that I use for
Hmm.
audience engagement. Slido.com, because you can do like a little quiz, just like Garrett had a poll to start.
Hmm.
And that's mostly what I do in all of the sessions. I have that audience interaction. We have a little bit of like a quick tip, is also how you can start, and then like a how-to session. But that would be the best way to like kind of get engagement because, like I said, people love awards. So
Yeah. This is a question in the chat that seems relevant to it, and I think you may have partially answered it. But Ksenia is asking, I'm creating a community from scratch, and engagement has been slowly increasing, but hoping
yeah,
to grow it even further. Is there certain techniques or anything that's had a big impact on taking, okay, you started the thing, how do you amplify it?
yeah, um, yeah. So, starting chat rooms, like that's
Hmm.
one where you have like, okay, Tableau leads, like
Hmm.
if you could have an internal chat room or because you'll find that there's I want to be a Tableau lead, what can I do to be that
Yeah.
lead? Or I want to be that Alteryx lead. It starts out small, but you'll find that it will grow over time. And also depends on if you're hybrid or like in person at the workspace. My very first Tableau user group that I went to was at Iron Hill Brewery. So it was
That helps.
beer and learning.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a beer drinker, I'm a wine drinker, but that's okay. A beer,
Uh-huh.
learning, that's fine. And then that's how I met, the Jeopardy person.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
random string and like so start out with something like awards. MS Teams is definitely if your organization has MS Teams, starting that group chat, um, giving out free swag. So what I'll do is you'll see me at TC 26. I'll be
Hmm.
grabbing the swag just to bring to events, and I'll give them out as awards for engagement. So if people are asking questions, we've also done a ticket thing where if they came to this session, they got like a ticket, and then we gave them little raffle tickets if they answered a question and they engaged in the event. So then we told them to put the tickets on the swag that they wanted to earn, and then we randomly drew one at the end. So that's another way. People will always show up if you're giving out free stuff. So cookies,
Mm-hmm.
swag, that's another incentive to bring people.
Breakfast.
Yeah.
If you invite them for breakfast, they will come too.
Tacos, I heard this taco event at TC 26.
I'm there.
There is also the Data plus Woman pre-game event.
Yes, yes,
Oh
there
yeah,
is.
the Data Plus Women pregame event.
I love
Absolutely.
that. I love that. One thing I think that's interesting that I've seen this internally at InterWorks, but like having a culture of not being afraid to show something, even if it's not perfect or fully formulated or whatever, like normalizing that. Because I feel like a lot of times you can get in these things and you're like, well, I don't want to look dumb, I don't want to I don't want to share this thing that I'm proud of. Like, cool, I did it, but maybe you're like, oh, there's some really smart people in this channel, and they're probably going to be like this amateur. But having a culture of just like, yeah, share whatever you're working on, and don't be afraid to ask questions and do that because we're all learning here. We do that through like internal Slack channels, like having like very targeted Slack channels for projects or technologies or whatever. And that's the good stuff because then you'll do that. And what will actually happen rather than someone poo-pooing your stuff will be, oh, I see you built that thing. Yes, I built something similar. Like here's a tip. Here's a shortcut I learned that might help you sort of thing. And then making those connections, that's when it really starts to take off, right? It's like beyond you as the instructor sharing things, and all of a sudden the community is engaging with itself and growing on its own.
I leave my beginner Tableau public dashboards out there when I first
Hmm.
started. So if you're looking at my page and you see a UFO one, I cringe when I look at it, but you are welcome to look at what not to do in a beginner Tableau dashboard. It's out there for you. It's for you. But no, it's good to show growth of like where you came from and then now where you are.
Hmm.
So always, always, always use Tableau Public as like your portfolio because what better way showing what you can do,
Hmm.
with and growth. So
Cool.
I also like the same what you said before, like delivering like little awards or something like that. You can create like a lot of awards. For instance, the most viewer on Tableau server this time, not in Tableau Public, but in Tableau server, or the most notable newbie. To show growth. So it's just a way like you give like maybe 5 to 10 awards annually, and they are happy because hey, they can also show their manager, and they give. Your role is only to give them confidence, and yeah, and
it wasn't
be there.
original. I stole it from the Vizzies. So
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Absolutely.
steal like an artist. So
It's taking what it's outside internally
Uh-huh.
because it works. It works. So that's a good.
To that end, there's a question in here from Anuria, and this is probably more about like the digital badges and stuff like that. But she said, "Hi Don, I like the advice. What was the platform to give the community awards? Was it a learning management system, an intranet, MS Teams? Essentially, how do you deliver those? Are you setting up like a landing page where people can download the badges? Is it emailed to them? How does that part work?"
it was emailed to them so that way they could use it. We looked into having it in like their phone book, and it was,
Mhm.
it was, we didn't really get too far with implementation, but we did configure a SharePoint list. Once
Mhm.
again, very high tech technology here, to have images so they could go and see like their page and see all of the badges like on the page because you can in SharePoint say view only me in the setup. I don't know if 365. I haven't heard a lot of
Mhm.
scary things about Microsoft 365, so I don't know if it's similar, but back in the older versions you could do that. So and
Mhm.
it's cool because they can show like, hey, my manager, look, these are the badges that I've earned with this tool. So the gamification and the acknowledgement. So it's that virtual trophy instead of the
Mhm.
little trophy on your desk. So
Mhm. Mhm. I'm curious too. So this is kind of we've got probably like 5 minutes before full Q&A things. And if there's no additional Q&As, we'll just keep talking. But so the Cluedo inspiration, I'm curious, I mean, just talking about where that came from originally. So like, are you a fan of true crime? Are those things related? Is it more like I loved board games and Cluedo was the board game that I liked? Or is this like a like, no, this is every part of my life. This is podcasts. This is TV. Point being, like, what is that like a big inspiration for you just in general, which is why it kind of bleeds over into your professional life, enablement stuff as like
Now,
interesting
I
gamification.
I would say I'm a master of none, but I like you know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
I like a lot of different topics. I'm a big science fiction fan. Sometimes I'll get sucked into like old episodes of like Law and Order and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. There are some murder podcasts on Netflix. I just discovered that you
Hmm.
can listen to podcasts on your way to work, on the drive to work. So there, there's
You can
some
do
in
that?
Netflix now. They have a whole section of podcasts. So
Uh-huh.
it's just,
Interesting.
sometimes they'll get sucked into a documentary and I have no idea how I got sucked into it. But like I'm like, okay, I'm full in on this Titanic documentary now,
Uh-huh.
like it's it's just what happened. So no, I wouldn't say it's like it happened because I was just random. I don't even know. I really
Yeah,
came
that's
across
okay.
it, was like, this seems like an awesome,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
event. And then it wasn't so popular. But, you never know. So
Uh-huh. Oh, that's interesting. Annabelle, on your side of things for creating enablement things, have you found that your personal interests bleed over kind of into the professional life and you're like, I like this over here, so I think I'll build something like this over here? Or is it kind of like Dawn's where it's just like, I don't know, I like a lot of things and sometimes an idea comes and I pursue it.
Yeah, a little bit of both. I
Hmm.
also stole like an artist a lot of
Uh-huh.
makeover when workout Wednesday, for instance,
Hmm.
that I will have divided into three level
Hmm.
for beginner, intermediate, and advanced. I reuse a lot of from the community, and that's why when I had a good idea, I also publish it to the community for them to use. So,
Uh-huh.
but it's like she said, a lot of time it's like, you thought that this initiative will work, and it didn't work
Hmm.
internally. And sometimes you are surprised by something that works that you will not have expected so much. So it's very humbling experience and interesting also.
um
Yeah. We have a new question from Nuria.
okay, sure.
Could you
Uh,
recommend any good reading on community or online course which were helpful for you in building community?
well, there's this blog site that I have called Tech Tips Girl that you could know. There are a couple of good books out there. Andy Cotgrave just published a new one. I keep hearing nothing but good, right,
Mhm.
Annabelle? And correct me if I'm
Mhm.
wrong. I hear nothing but good things about like his writings. Anna, I think, created another one in the community. Like techtipsgirl.com. Yep, YouTube channel. Tech Tips
That's a
Girl.
good one.
That's a good
I
one.
don't remember the name of the lady who write it, but that's a
But
Dawn.
yes, so how I come across stuff is once again randomly is like I run
Hmm.
into like a use case or a challenge and then I'm like someone in the environment, someone out there has run into this before, and if they haven't, I create a blog post about it. So that's how I come across stuff, is very randomly. I am not a linear like A to B to C person. I have a friend that's the complete opposite of me. We drive each other crazy because he'd rather have a meeting about the meeting before the meeting is done. And I'm like, let's just wing it. Let's get it done. So we balance each other out.
I believe this is the Andy Cotgreave book. It's at
Yes,
least the most
dashboards
recent one
that
that came out.
deliver.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite good.
He had awesome sessions. And I forget the name, where they would have like a kind of makeover session too that
Hmm.
Annabelle, please. I'm like, I'm
Chart,
trying to
chart
blank.
chat, chart
Chat,
chat.
yes, chart chat. He had those and I enjoyed them so much. I
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
hope he is at TC26, but I don't know. Um,
Otherwise, you can see him on the YouTube channel. They had
yeah.
their own YouTube channel now. The Analytic Tug. They will probably come one day. Often. No, you can find them in the channel, the book. That's quite interesting.
Storytelling with data is
Yeah.
another one. They have
Mm-hmm.
great books out there. So, because that's the other thing that we all do. We know these applications, but the real question we're trying to answer is like, what visualization helps tell the story? So it's not enough just to learn how to create a bar chart in, Tableau, or, you could use AI tools to kind of help figure out what's the best, chart for what analysis. You could also use Andy Kriebel's visual vocabulary. I tell a lot of
Mm-hmm.
students to favorite that one. So if you take anything from this session, learn to create a Tableau public profile, and if you don't create visualizations, use it for the favorites. So favorite
Mm-hmm.
some of these Tableau public dashboards and things out there to use for like later reference, you know. Um, so yeah.
I really like also the book from Ben Jones on data literacy. They are quite good. I mean, the company is that it's called dataliteracy.com, so easy to
Mm-hmm.
find.
Easy to find, yeah. Here, we'll put it in here. Uh, I love that. That's great. I think this is something. This is a hallmark, in particular, of the Tableau community of having a lot of people who are very willing to share resources, and not only share them, but to say like, yeah, take the thing I built and riff on it. I think that's really cool. For people to be able to do that, because not every community is that way. Sometimes people get very protective of the things they built, or they, and it's not that, of course, all these people that we've shared have companies, have books. It's not that they're not trying to earn a living off of some of those things, but a lot of people can be very protective and over monetize their stuff to be like, well, yeah, I'll tell you my secrets if you pay, $300 an hour. Then I'll tell you, I'll let you know whatever. But I feel like the Tableau community in general is pretty open about being like, well, here it is, here's how it works. Feel free to build upon it. So, okay, here's an important question. Any good sci-fi recommendations, Don?
So
To watch, I should say.
I really like Starfleet Academy right now. I dragged my husband through the Star Trek experience. He wasn't as much of a sci-fi fan before, but I
Uh-huh.
kind of have influenced him. Imagine that. So Starfleet Academy, I couldn't get him into the next generation because it didn't age well. He really likes the Star Wars stuff, like more
Hmm.
than I do. So I would say I'm more Star Trek, he's more Star Wars, but that's okay.
Hmm.
We were watching those. I love Marvel stuff,
Hmm.
like the Marvel shows, um, the Marvels, with like all
Hmm.
three.
Hmm. Hmm.
And Marvel movies, of course. Paradise was also a good one. So I like a good like apocalyptic kind of,
Hmm.
you know, thing. So that one was really good. I think their second season is coming soon. There was one that's kind of horror sci-fi. That was oh shoot. So my brain is not working today at all.
It's very early
It
though for
is.
you.
From that's it. It was
Okay.
From. Yeah, that is so creepy, but it's a good one because you're like, what is going on?
Hmm.
So I like those kind of mysteries.
No, that's cool.
And Don, I'm surprised you haven't played, you didn't like, I don't know, the click point game where they have like, there is a lot of mystery. That's why I like them. It was like room 247, I think. Broken Sword. I tried to find like the English name each time.
Hmm.
One
Hmm.
that I really like was Monkey Island. I know it's easy to play, but
I'm
it's
looking at
very
this.
complex. Like you have to use these tools there.
Uh-huh.
I
This
really
looks
love it.
cool. Broken Sword, The Shadow of the Templars. This looks so
Yes, fantastic game.
yeah. So if you see me in person, if anybody on the call goes to TC26, tell me about video games you play. Show me pictures of your cats or dogs.
Hmm.
So like anything, I'm open to anything. And
It's
literally
very approachable. So
yeah,
please
the
do.
last conference, I'm also willing to make a fool of myself. So if you see me, I might trip on stage, which is okay. Like, you just got to get it out of your system at one time and then you're fine for the rest of
Uh-huh.
this. So,
Yeah. I'm curious, Dawn, is there anything right now that, I mean, we're in the last 5 minutes, so if anyone has questions, feel free to ask them. But um, are there any things right now that you're excited to learn about, or something that whether it's a tool or whether it's a new skill, you're like, oh, this is like if I had free time as a manager or in my free professional free time, this is what I'm learning about right now.
I hate to say other tools on the call, but ThoughtSpot is like
Uh-huh.
another BI tool. I've learned different BI tools in my career, like Business Objects, Cognos, um, ThoughtSpot, Databricks.
Hmm.
Like those are two
Yeah.
tools that I want to learn that are out there. And of course, like how like Tableau Agent, getting to learn that a little bit more, Tableau
Hmm.
Pulse. I don't really have a current use case for it, but I want to like kind of dive in a little bit. So those are
Hmm.
some tools I would like to learn.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yes,
I think
it's
that's all
good to keep.
interesting. Go ahead, Annabelle. Sorry.
No, it's good to keep learning.
Hmm.
We always have to keep learning in that age.
Yeah, and the more tools you have in your tool belt, like the more marketable you are too. So, it looks great. Like, hey, I'm not just a Tableau or an Alteryx
Mm.
person. Like, I'm willing to learn like other tools and technology. But it all boils down to knowing SQL first. So
Hmm.
w3schools.com. Um, Data Camp is also another really great
Uh-huh.
site to like learn. They have gamification where you earn points the more things that you do. They have Databricks in there. They have
Hmm.
Python. Python is another one I'm trying to learn on the side. I'm like
Hmm.
4 out of 6 classes with eCornell on a Python certification. So never stop learning. That's my goal. Never stop learning.
Hmm.
I will share on the chat a link that I really like to learn SQL. It's about mystery, a murder mystery to solve in SQL.
Ah.
Yes,
Already played on.
To see this. Oh
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's really fun. No, I love all that. No, that's all really great advice. At the end of the day, when we think about it wasn't so long ago, if I don't know, maybe it was 10, 15 years ago when Tableau was a new thing and nobody knew what it was. And, all of a sudden it's out there. And then, it's 2026 and there's all sorts of new tools and new things and obviously AI everything, new data warehousing things like you had mentioned, like Databricks, Snowflake, others, ThoughtSpot, like Sigma. There's so many different platforms, and if you've worked in tech long enough, you know that it can change like that, right? So insulating yourself again, having that foundational knowledge, like you said, that's going to be foundational to anything you do, tool agnostic, right? But you just know you never know what the wave of the future is going to be or who's going to get bought out by who or what's going to happen to it, et cetera, et cetera. So diversifying, I think, is a really good strategy. Well, cool. Well, we are at 9:59. Well, great. Well timed, everyone. We did it.
I think that we've done, we can speak for 2 or 3 additional hours, easy.
Oh yeah, yeah, easily. That's always the thing with these conversations. Is it's usually the challenge is never filling the time, but trying to edit down, trying to be on time. I'm curious, Don, is there, in terms of parting words, parting advice, anything like that, is there any resources that people can reach out to? I know you said Tech Tips Girl being your blog. Anything else in terms of if someone wants to connect or wants to learn more from you or anything like that?
Tableau training that Steve Adams, there is a newsletter that Steve Adams does. There's quite a bit of followers with Tableau training. So if you want to look at that on LinkedIn,
Hmm.
sign up for his newsletter. You could do my blog.
Hmm.
Like the Tableau community, there's so many names. There's so many people that are willing to help.
Hmm.
So that's kind of where I would say find me on LinkedIn, friend me. Like
Hmm.
I will try to reach out to you. As I said, being a manager, it's kind of a new situation for me. So, but any like Annabelle, like anybody in the Tableau community,
Hmm.
any of the ambassadors and visionaries are always willing. And that was really, really surprising to me is just how welcoming everyone was at Tableau
Hmm.
conference. So if you get a chance, go to Tableau conference because that
Hmm.
is like so many like-minded individuals, who love data or interested in these tools. It's a great experience. and you can
And you'll
connect
be
it at
speaking
work.
there, and they can watch your session.
Yes, they can watch my session that's been renamed. It's now called Future Proofing Your Tableau Data Model.
Okay.
So it will be fun, I swear.
It's
So
always fun with you.
Yeah.
yes, and might have some light up InterWorks shoelaces on stage. It may happen
Okay.
again. So
Please do. Please do. Please do. Well, awesome. Well, we're at time. I want to thank you so much, Dawn, for coming on and talking. This was really fun. I love hearing all your resources about your journey, all the tips and tricks that you have, not only for Tableau but for Alteryx too, just for other tools. But yeah, thanks for sharing that knowledge and chatting.
thanks
Thank you
everybody
very
for
much, Dawn.
listening. Thanks for
Hmm.
having me. Awesome.
You're
Awesome. All right.
welcome.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.